I always thought the combination of you and Mike together, I thought it was a perfect pairing musically. Like, I hear radio like music. And, I think he should have fought very, very hard to keep you as part of his team. The two of you together made life easier for one another.
I totally agree. And I've had him on twice, I've had him on recently a lot here on our show. Very sharp. You're right. There is a chemistry there, and you have that perfect grouping. It's like a perfect harmony. We know how to play off one another, and when Mike needs to be uplifted, I can screen. And when we need to calm down, Mike can bring us down. That was a great team. It was a great radio team.
And I'm fascinated by radio teams that break up. I value my radio team. I think Mike, and I don't know the guy, so you can correct me, but I don't think he valued you enough. I really do not think he valued you enough.
I think there's a lot to that. I think there's 100%. I do think Mike understands now, after all this time, that the team was a super team. So I do think that now. I do think, Mike's not going to come out. He's just not going to come out and, do accolades on Chris Russo. It's not Mike's way. So you're not going to hear Mike for an hour say, what a partner, what a show. It's just not Mike's deal. That's not the way he is. So from that standpoint, you're not going to get him to admit it. But I do think you're right. I do think that what we had as a team was very significant. That's why me leaving, trying here, was a hard decision to make.
Mike Francesa has been honored by the Radio Hall of Fame. You were 50% of that. I mean, why have you not been inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame, and do you care about it?
First off, the fact that I'm not inducted and I have you to talk about it, because I know you talk about this, is almost better off I don't get in, because I have you out there. So I have you support me. That's the first thing. But 3 years ago, it bothered the hell out of me.
Did you ever contact, I don't know, even know who would be in charge of that? No contact.
I can't. No contact.
If you were going to honor that show with a Hall of Fame, you'd have to honor both guys.
I shouldn't tell you this because you're going to be, you may not like it, but I have a dream that if I did get that honor, and you got to have somebody do a little speech for you.
That's right.
I'm going to ask to do it, don't you? You.
Now I dream that you never ever get into the Radio Hall of Fame.
Would you do it? If I asked you?
No.
You wouldn't.
I'll tell you why.
You would say, Chris, thanks for the offer, but I'm going to pass.
Here's the truth. I have been so critical of that organization. I would feel hypocritical to show up and, induct you into something I don't even... the fact that you have to be voted on is offensive to me. You know who would be fabulous to induct you into the Radio Hall of Fame?
Who's that?
And I mean this. David Letterman.
You know what, Howard? That is why you're brilliant. That is perfect. You're right. I would ask him.
I think he would do it for you. I do. Now, you must miss that show, and I'll tell you why. That was the glory days.
You're 100% right. That was a very, very significant part of my life with him. Twice in a row in 2003, I had a book out, and Dave invited me. Dave was going to promote the book. He was good with that, as you know. Yeah. And the first time I went in there, I took a day off. You know how it is. You got to leave the show early, taped at 5:30. One day I go in there, and he's got Demi Moore on. So I get bumped. Come back about a week, whatever it was, maybe a couple weeks later, and Courtney Love is in there.
Right.
And I get bumped again. I think nothing of it. This is David Letterman. This is part of the world. You have to understand this. Okay. About a week or so later, I'm driving to work. This is when I was on FAN. I'm driving to work, local station in New York, and I get a phone call. And it's Dave. He said, Chris, hi, David Letterman. Dave, yeah, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, what's up? He says, I want to apologize for bumping you twice. Unforgivable on my part. And if you would do me a favor and, forgive me, and next time we have you on, would you come on? And I said, Dave, what are you, crazy? Of course I come on. From that moment on, he always gave me 2 segments, not one. A local little radio guy from New York who's no big deal under any circumstances. This is not serious now. This is on FAN. Calls me up on the way to work and says, Chris, I apologize. You don't have to apologize. He's David Letterman.
Because, Chris, Dave knows how difficult it is to do radio. He respects radio guys. He's done it himself. And he knows how difficult it is to hold an audience. He respected you. That's why he picked up the phone.
I was really impressed by that. I was really impressed by that he did that. And, It's guys like, listen, you and Dave. I mean, when you think about it, in my era, a little past Carson. I mean, you two, you're the biggest media guys out there.
But I miss Dave.
Listen, I'm not stupid. Eventually, they're going to put me in the Radio Hall of Fame. I mean, I hate to say that; it sounds cocky. But eventually, they're gonna run out of people. Hey, how about Russo? Let's throw him a bone.
That's
One of these days, they're gonna do that.
You think they'll go through everybody in radio, and then they'll finally get to you?
They're saying, all right, he's 81 years old. Let's give him a thought. But now that I know that you would rather not be asked,
you gave me an idea. I will go to Dave.